Cyrene, the biggest question mark in the Amphoreus story to date. We saw her in the Golden Epic trailer, once again the Nameless Faces video, and yet again at the very end of the latest story quest. Yet we still know next to nothing about her. Sure, we know that she has her obvious connections to Mem, and we can also assume March 7th, and she wears the same arm belt things as Nanook that share a pattern with Mem's trail, but then again, that could just be a misnomer because Nanook also has the same hair braid as Mighty and the same hairstyle as Blade. Point is, the Cyrene situation is a mess. But what is her role in all of this? And how does she appear in the vortex of Genesis when she's supposed to be long dead? Well, I believe that I may have cracked the code for what's going on here and how this world truly works. In the last video, we talked about the Emperor's Scepter, the solitary waves theory, along with the prophesied return of the most dangerous Genius Society member known to the universe. And today, I think we can work off of this information to make more inferences that tie the world up into a pretty pink bow suited just for Elysia herself. Because this is Cyrene's true identity revealed. Okay, so as a world created by the Emperor's Scepter, I believe that it is safe to say that this is in fact the creation of Rubert, since the scepters are literally neurons of his external brain. And this one has been left to its own devices for who knows how long, running simulations on destroying all organic life for thousands or even tens of thousands of years. And the purpose of Lygus is to pretty much be the prison warden bearing witness to the suffering, which brings a new meaning to why Finan was able to relate to the Penacony story about the Trailblazers saving a prison world, because he is one of the prisoners. But that's a topic for a different video. Because considering that this world was a creation of Rubert's neurons and thereby his memories, this got me thinking on how this guy would create a world. Well, we know that he is a sick, evil robot, so human suffering is a must-have. He is Rubert after all. But what about the makeup of the world? How did he come up with the Titans? And then it hit me. There are 12 Titans, and there just so happen to be 12 alive and active Aeons in the universe. So of course, me being me, I attempted to connect the Aeons to the Titans, and what I found was truly shocking. Because it turns out that every single Aeon can in fact be connected to the Titans of Amphoreus through their nature and how they interact with their followers. Hear me out, because this is actually kinda shocking. So let's start off with the easy ones: strife being destruction, death being nihility, law is equilibrium, and erudition is reason. The rest require a bit of explanation though. For example, the Titan of trickery with the ability to change everything with lies being eerily similar to the Enigmata that is able to alter the perception of history by adding riddles and myths, and the Ocean Titan bringing forth song, dance, and laughter very much like the Elation. But of course, it doesn't end there, because the Earth Titan, despite the fact that we know next to nothing about them, is described to be the guardian of the mortal world, very much like the Preservation, that has an Aeon that is literally a giant rock golem that wants to protect everyone. And you would think that Yanis has nothing to do with the Aeons, but their demigod split herself into 1,000 pieces, just like Shepe the Harmony has 1,000 faces and multiple identities, yet still being one Aeon, which matches up very, very well. And Aquila is exactly like Lon the Hunt, because just like Lon, Aquila rains down divine wrath on their own followers, just like Lon, who nuked their own flagship and Emanator in the past. Speculated Emanator, General, whatever, Fei Xiao's predecessor. And although romance does match up very easily with the beauty, Andrilla is dead, so the next closest would be the Abundance, which doesn't match up until you realize that Nestia was the Titan of love, and Yaosha is the Titan with arguably the most affection for mortals. Too much affection. In fact, even if they have no connection to their path at all, Yaosha still seeks out anyone in search of immortality. So like it or not, they are the most responsive and cooperative Aeon alive, and that can't be denied, leaving the world-bearing Titan Kephalli and the Time Titan Oronyx. And it just so happens that Kephalli is known for their prophecies of the future and their omniscience, the very same thing Terminus is known for, the Aeon of finality, traveling traveling through time, giving prophecies of the future. Not to be confused with Oronyx, the Time Titan who collects memories to stop them from falling into oblivion, who literally calls Fu Li the Sky Father. So yes, Rubert very much paraphrased the path system when he created Amphoreus. However, this Time Titan has always been suspicious. This is the one Titan that has ever referenced the path system, even calling us, the Trailblazer, a path strider of the Remembrance. And they were the one that gave us Mem in the first place. And at first, I didn't know what to do with this information, until I played the latest update to the Divergent universe, because they added a few more demigods to it. They added Phaenon, Hyacinth, Saridra, Terravox, and what's this? No name. Boxes? Wouldn't that be us? They know our name. Couldn't they just put our name there and our symbol? Or just a picture of us? And what is that symbol? What could that possibly mean? Then it hit me like a truck that isekai'd me into an entirely new world of thought. Because as we know, this world, the Flame Chasers, the memories becoming real, all this points to one thing: the Elysian realm from Honkai Impact 3rd. We know this, the place that we met the Flame Chasers, and it just so happens that when we met Elysia, the Cyrene of Honkai Impact 3rd, what was her signet represented by? Boxes. Her signet went unknown for a long time, presented just like it's presented now. But that's not all, because Elysia, when she was revealed to be the Herrscher of human ego, she summons a pink manta ray that, if you look closely, has a pattern near identical to the symbol in the picture. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we found our true demigod of time. Because even though they call us the demigod of time, we never really got the divine authority of Oronyx. We still have no clue what the true power of the Time Titan is, so who's to say that the true power of time rests in the hands of someone else? Specifically someone else from beyond the sky. Because the knowledge of the path system had to come from somewhere, and if the Time Titan is the only one who knows, then it would have to come from the one person in league with them: Cyrene, who we know for an absolute fact is based off of Elysia, who wasn't from Earth. She was a Herrscher, or demigod in this case, from the jump, and I think Cyrene is following the exact same path. She may even be a memo keeper or an emanator of remembrance, meaning that she has no physical body and faked her death all those years ago, manipulating Phaenon's memories into believing that she had died this whole time. Remember, he is the only survivor from ID's Elysiae, so she only had to trick one person, which would make perfect sense because she's not the only one who likes to play around with cards. Black Swan does as well, another memo keeper. And if she is connected with the Remembrance, which all evidence points to, she may be this mother Oronyx was calling out to. Because since this is a world of memories, a memo keeper would be able to access all points of the memory whenever they want, making them seem like a time traveler in Amphoreus, which is exactly what Mem does, though Mem does it on a smaller scale. This explains why Oronyx follows in the footsteps of Fu Li and acts like a memo keeper by collecting memories to stop them from falling into the abyss, because they view Fu Li and their memo keeper as their parents. This also explains why Oronyx called the Flame Chase prophecy false and did all they could to stop us, because they knew that this so-called world reset wouldn't save anything because it's stuck in a loop. The Time Titan that collects memories, who upholds the past, future, and present of Amphoreus, is the only Titan with the knowledge of the past and that this world is a lie. And no one believed poor Oronyx. Blinded by their ambition, they followed a prophecy that leads to their own repeated demise, which leads me to think that Cyrene wants to guide people away from the world reset. Remember, she never wanted Phaenon to be a deliverer in the first place, because she knew what he would be delivering them all to. She has been working against the Flame Chase this entire time. Cards, the box representation of her name, the pattern, the true song, Elysia's theme playing in the background when she shows up, the Time Titan knowing about Fu Li and being the sole Titan with the knowledge of what goes on beyond the sky. Even the fact that she is alive right now all points towards one thing. Cyrene is an outworlder from beyond the sky with heavy ties to the Remembrance, and is most likely a memo keeper, and Mem is most likely her memo sprite that Oronyx gave us the moment they saw another memetic entity. Remember, we were dead when we first met Oronyx and were entirely comprised of memories, just like a memetic entity, a memo keeper. So when Oronyx saw us, they said, "Mother, is that you?" Because Cyrene's body composition is the exact same as ours in that time. They singled us out because we were a memetic entity. It is possible because of her that we survived as a memory long enough for Fuli to stabilize our form. Because memo keepers can move around undetected, she could have encountered us anywhere. She has been hiding this entire time. Why? I think it's because the anti-organic equation, aka the black tide, is a memetic virus, something we know is lethal to memetic entities. And if this memetic virus were to spread outside this world, the entire Garden of Recollection could be at risk, because the anti-organic equation infects and distorts memories, and Cyrene knows this and has been avoiding the black tide while fighting against it in subtle ways so she herself doesn't get infected. So when the black tide showed up in ID Zelizii, she faked her death and went into hiding, only to show up right before the reset in the Vortex of Genesis, where the black tide isn't. The one place the black tide isn't. Why? Well, I've got a feeling that the world reset based off of memories and someone who controls memories waiting until this very moment to appear probably will alter the reset in some way or attempt to stop the reset altogether. Either way, she may or may not have golden blood, but she is definitely not from Amphoreus and does not want the world to reset the way it always has, because she is a memo keeper trying to stop a memetic virus infected world from polluting the garden. But Nova, how does March 7th come into play? Well, do you remember how memo keepers are created? Nope. They give up their physical body to become a memetic entity. But what happens to the physical body? We don't know. But we do know that March 7th's ice condition is caused by a loss of memories. Could it be possible that March 7th is the discarded body of Cyrene that's lost its memories long ago that the Express stumbled upon, and it gained sentience and still values memories to the extent that she takes her camera everywhere she goes? It's not unheard of. Rubert gained sentience from out of nowhere too. Food for thought. Admittedly, that theory still needs developing, but as for Cyrene, I think it is safe to say that this is the true identity of Cyrene revealed. I am entirely convinced that Cyrene is a memo keeper of some sort and has been fighting against Rubert's Scepter created corruption for a long time, biding her time until she could make an ending that wouldn't fall into chaos and bloodshed. And Lygus is just here to laugh at her attempts to do so, because Rubert is evil and his diabolical memories make the rules. Which makes me fear for her future, considering how Elysia went out. It's not looking good for her. What this world needs isn't to turn the page, Cyrene. It needs to be rewritten. Remembrance pen, finality, new beginning, the true era Nova is upon us. But what do you guys think? Be sure to let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.